our Trinity chopped, so now we're going to talk about the sausage. I like to use a Butterball turkey sausage, and it has 60% less fat in it than normal sausage. And this is just a Polska kielbasa, and it tastes really good. And I also like to use chorizo, which is a Spanish sausage. And I found this kind in the grocery store. It's soft, and it comes in a tube, and I'm going to use about 2 ounces. But if you can't find this kind, you can also use the links of chorizo. But when you're working with this kind, just be sure to take the casings off because the casings aren't edible. And you might want to have your mom or dad chop it for you because that is very, very hard to chop, I know. And just be sure to chop it into small pieces. Now let's chop our Polska kielbasa. I'm using a whole package of sausage, and each link is about 7 ounces. And I'm just going to chop them both into 1/2-inch rounds and do them both at the same time so you get done quicker. We're going to cook our chorizo first. So what you want to do is put your pan on medium-high heat and then add just a little bit of olive oil. Once your pan is nice and hot, you want to add your chorizo. And then break it apart. Be sure to get your chorizo in nice small chunks because you don't want to get a big hunk of it because it's mostly for flavor. I've removed my chorizo and put it in a separate bowl, and I've left the yummy pan drippings in there to keep the flavor in for my turkey sausage. So I have my heat on medium-low, and I'm just going to put this in. And I like to stand it up first, so that way you know at least one side will be brown. Now we have that great caramelization on our sausage. And you might be wondering why we're cooking the turkey sausage if it's already pre-cooked. This is why. Those pan drippings from the chorizo give it that nice brown color, and they also give it a nice flavor. And if your pan drippings are sticking a little bit, you can always add a little bit of water. Now it's time to remove the sausage and cook our veggies. Now that the sausage is out of the pan and in the bowl, I'm going to go put it in the refrigerator because it'll be about 45 minutes until we need it again. You might be tempted to wash your pan out before you put your veggies in. Don't do it, okay? Don't. All you need to do is add a little bit more olive oil in there so your veggies don't stick, but keep these nice pan drippings in there because that is where all of your flavor is. So do not wash out your pan. I'm going to put my onion in first, and I have about a cup of onion here, but I have 1/2 cup of bell pepper and celery. And I'm just using more onion just because I like it. That's all. And I'm putting the onion in first because it takes the longest to cook. Like I mentioned before, since some of my pan drippings are sticking to the bottom, I'm going to add a little bit more water to do what they call deglazing the pan. You just stir that and try to get all your drippings loose. Now, to complete what they call in New Orleans the Holy Trinity, I'm going to add in my bell pepper and my celery. And just keep stirring that. Now, you know how I feel about my seasonings. So I'm going to add in a good pinch of salt to my veggies. And this also helps do what they call sweat the vegetables, just to help get all that excess water out and to bring out the real flavors. But if you're on a restricted sodium diet, You can leave it out or just put in a minimal amount. Now that my vegetables are almost finished, I'm going to add in my garlic. Now, as I said in my spaghetti video, I've been using elephant garlic, and it's a lot more mild than normal garlic, so I'm using more of it. But if you're using normal garlic, don't use as much. And the reason I didn't put this in before is because if you put garlic in too early, it will burn and get bitter and will not taste very good. It'll ruin your whole dish. So remember, put it in a little after. I would say you should cook your garlic for about 2 minutes, and by then your vegetables should be nice and translucent. Now we're going to add all of our nice flavors to our pot. So we're going to add a couple of shakes of black pepper, about a teaspoon of oregano, a few shakes of hot sauce, and I'm not going to add too much because I don't like spicy foods, so I'm only going to add like 3 shakes. And then you want to put in your Worcestershire sauce. And you want to do about 2 tablespoons of this. Okay. Once you have that stirred together and incorporated, you want to add your chorizo back in. Now we're going to add in our tomatoes. This can is diced tomatoes with green pepper and onions. You want to dump that in. And this second can has basil, garlic, and oregano in it. And you want to stir this together. And I know you're thinking we've already added all of those ingredients, but a little extra just enhances the flavor. Now turn your heat up to medium-high because we need it to be a little hotter for this next step.